Hey guys, you guys wanted this, so I'm gonna do it. This is me rebuilding the Gitrog from scratch. The reason I want to do this is because Gitrog Monster was my first ever deck. I got an Izzet versus Golgari deck, dual deck, and I shared it with my partner. They got the Izzet half, I got the Golgari half. They turned their Izzet deck into Niv Mizzet Wheel with a tiny bit of spell slinging. I turned mine into Dredge, and I changed the commander to Gitrog Monster instead of Gerard. So what I'm going to do is rebuild this because a lot of stuff has come out since then. We've gotten a bunch of land graveyard support. There's a bunch of mill stuff from the Innistrad sets last time we went there. There's some new cards that let you play lands from graveyards, and there's the Descend stuff from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Once that was shown, I knew I needed to bite the bullet and redo this deck. This isn't going to be a full-on deck tech or anything. I'm not going to like explain deep combos or shit. Mostly, this is going to be a mostly long, probably, and chill video where I just make a Gitrog monster deck and share it with you guys, and hopefully this makes okay background noise. So I guess Gitrog monster costs 3 black green, and it's a 6/6 legendary frog with death touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you either sacrifice it or a land. Whenever one or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, you draw a card, and you may play an additional land on each of your turns. This really works well with Dredge, because Dredge mills your deck to bring back cards to your hand, and it triggers on draws. So if you mill lands, you get to draw cards, which can trigger more Dredge things. That's the main reason Gitrog is such an important Dredge card, is like the best Dredge commander. And that's the direction I'm going to build it. Dredge mixed with Descend and some self-mill in general, and a couple revival payoffs. So first, I'll start with staples, I guess. So let's go with Soul Ring. That's important. Arcane Signet. Goodness, I can't spell today. My G key's a little fucked up, but we live with it. I'll change the Arcane Signet art to something I care more about. Not Arcane Signet, Soul Ring. And then you don't want to do Cultivate or Rampant Growth. You want to do the ones that sacrifice lands, but I'm not going to get into that right now because those aren't staples. Those are just basically Cultivate and Rampant Growth are staples in green. So, but I'm not doing the replacements yet because I'm going to include that in ramp. So I'm going to do categories. So I'm going to change tags and put this under ramp. If Soul Ring counts as ramp, I guess. I guess it might not. It might. It depends on what's you feel, I guess. But I'm putting them in here. Whoops. That's adding a new tag. I can just put it in ramp. So I guess we'll start with ramp. So it's Harrow, I think. Harrow's one. I'm gonna look for the others by going to sacrifice a land. There should be some stuff that helps with this. I just realized that it's going to include everything that says that sacrifices itself or gets a land. I guess I'll look that up and figure out if there's any that I'm missing. I can look it up on here. So, not rampant growth. What would I call it? What would you call it? Ramp spells that make you sacrifice lands? There's Harrow, and then there's another one, and it's gonna bug me. It's Harrow. It's Whirling Regrowth. I think that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So let's go with Roiling Regrowth. That's what I wanted. As for Mana Dorks to include in ramp, Skull Prophet is my favorite in this deck because it mills on its own and it can be a Mana Dork for the colors you need. So that's a decent amount of ramp. That's 5 things so far for ramp. The thing is, it's hard to classify what ramp is because there's stuff that lets you play lands from the graveyard. And does that count? Who knows? I don't. I'm gonna put Azusa in here, and I'm gonna put that in ramp? Maybe controversial take? I'm not sure. And sure, I'll put the lands from graveyard stuff in the ramp package. So Ramanap Excavator, not that art. Normally, I go for cheaper cards. Chest up for a second. Normally I go for cheaper cards, but I got lucky with this deck, and I have a bunch of stuff for it that's expensive. That's good for ramp for now. I think 7 ramp spells is good, especially because Gitrog already lets us play lands on our turn. Let's go with dredge stuff. So I'm gonna go with advanced search, and then type in dredge. There we go. Dredge is a mechanic that is never coming back and probably never going to get cards. They said they can print more in supplementary products like Commander Precons, but I doubt that we're ever going to get more of this. It basically lets you mill cards equal to its dredge rating if you would draw a card and add it back to your hand instead of by giving up that draw. The mill is supposed to be a downside, but in this case the mill is an upside. So Dakmar Salvage is really important. I don't like Dark Blast. I know a lot of people do. Just because of the dredge cost, and it's nice to have an instant with dredge. Like, when it costs 1, so you can get in your graveyard very easy. I just don't like it. I might come back to it. I like Brown Scale. I feel like I need the life gain to get me by sometimes, especially because one of the win conditions of this deck is surviving long enough to get to an infinite combo. That I'm going to explain at some point when I get to that. Grave Troll's a definite card, like, obviously. Golgari Thug's really good. I'm going to run that. The downside is I have to remember that Golgari Thug is mandatory, so when it hits the graveyard, you have to put some creature from your graveyard on top of your library. There's been times where I block with this, it dies, it goes to the top, and I'm stuck kind of in a bad situation. I'm not big on Graveshell Scarab. It's only dredge 1, and it costs like 5 mana, so it's basically 6 mana, draw a card, and the next turn you mill 1. It's not good. I'm also not into Greater Mosdog because it's a vanilla outside of that. So I'm going to go for Life of the Lum. This card's really good. Moldavine Cloak can help a lot. Stinkweed Imp is one of my favorites. I like Shambling Shell. Shambling Shell is a better version of the Scarab. It costs less. And it's an effect that can help multiple. I don't know. I just like that effect more. Necroplasm's a good card. Nightmare Void. I don't like discard effects, forced discard effects. I don't find it fun to play against or fun to play. So I'm going to ignore that for now. And I'll try a Dark Blast. I've been told that I'm crazy for not running this. So I'm going to try it out and see where that gets me. The hard part is... Do I want to make a dredge category? Or do I want to make a mill category? I'll make a mill category. No. I'll make a dredge category. Change tags. Let's go with the dredge things, and we'll put them all in here. Now the hard part is, you probably can put them in multiples, but it's hard because some of these do multiple things. So that's difficult. So let's do the dredge stuff. 10 dredge cards exactly. So that's good. I'm gonna go with revival spells next. Sure. Let's go with unearth, victimize, dread return. What are the other ones that I like? There's more that I like. Let's see. I guess I'll do creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield? Let's go with that. See if there's good ones that I'm missing that are cheap. This card's good, not in this deck though. You want to exile tokens, and this deck doesn't really make tokens. Oh, something you guys should know about me is that I'm terrified of exile. I don't like my shit getting exiled. I don't like the idea of losing something forever. That's why I run a lot of graveyard decks, a lot of recursion, a lot of revival. So I'm too scared to run effects that are like revive a creature, exile it if it leaves the battlefield. I'm too much of a wimp for that. I'm a paranoid dude, and I just have issues with that. Archpriest of Shadows might be okay, but we'll come back to that. I'll have to remember that. I don't like this costing 6. That just returns to the hand. I think I'm good on revival spells. That's just worse victimize. That's worse victimize that costs more. I guess it's not technically. There's, you know, what's the word? I don't know the word I'm looking for. There's reasons to run one over the other. It's not as simple as that. Turning target creature. That's 5 mana. I want some. See if there's some 3 or 4s that I'm missing. I don't think there are. That has to be a zombie, so eh. I like Diagraph Rebirth, because that could come up. I think that's enough revival spells. One of the things for this deck, though, is milling big creatures and then reviving them. So that's difficult, but eh, that should be good for now, right? Also, you guys should know that I'm not the best at making decks. This deck's probably going to be awful, but I'm doing my best. And I'm trying to do it without EDH rec, because I'm trying to get better at that. Just as a thing I can do. Change tags. Revival. I misspelled revival, but you guys aren't going to make fun of me for that. No one's going to make fun of me for that. Why would anyone make fun of me for that? That's not... Oh, I forgot. Let's do Unearth stuff next. It's Unearth, right? No, it's Descend. It's Descend stuff. I probably said Unearth stuff at the start of this video. I've never looked at any of these cards, so it's time to read. Let's see. I don't want to offend it. Akawali? Akawali. Either way. If there are 4 more in your graveyard, it gets +2/+2 and trample, so it becomes a 5/5. If there's 8 or more, it becomes a 7/7 and can't with trample and can't be blocked by more than one creature. Sure, I like that card. Oh, I like capybaras. Sorry, this card's not that good. If you have 4 more cards, it becomes a 5/4, 5/3, which is probably good in draft, probably good in more different constructed formats, where tempo is more important. But in this case, in Commander, I don't think this card's that good. I remember liking this card because I did see this one posted somewhere during previous season. Uh, let's see. So Descend 8 copies itself twice. You return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand, then exile this card. If it copies it twice, it becomes green. Return 3 from graveyard to your hand, exile this. I'll go for it. Nah, I don't like it, so we'll come back to that if there's some cool stuff we want to add later. This seems good. It makes some big boys. Oh, maybe this. Oh, that's a raccoon friend. Let's see what you got. This doesn't feel that good, but it is a cute raccoon. We'll run it. I'll take it out if I don't like it. It'll be one of the first cards I take out if I don't like it, though. So you have a lot of work to do, Cody. Scavenger. Menace. At the beginning of our end step, if you descended this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. It having Menace and being decently cheap makes it worth running for me. I like Descent. Okay, this isn't not a Echo of Dusk. So it becomes a life linker and gets +1/+1. If there's 4 or more. So 1 in a black for a 3/3 life linker. I feel like there's better ways to get one of those, so I'm not going to go for it. This is a bad kill spell. A kill spell I don't like. It's probably good in other formats, or I can see people liking it in certain decks. So, that's something. But I'm just going to run other kill spells, because they're not as... I feel like, yeah, just run a kill spell outside of draft and stuff. But I'm not here to complain or whatever. I don't like that. He's a little dude. I like him. He's good enough. Starving Revenant. Surveil 2. Then for each card you didn't mill. I feel like ETB mill 2 is good enough. And I can draw on those cards too. That's weird. Oh, that's really good because Gitrog is going to draw us a lot of cards. And that's going to be helpful. I'm cool with that. That card's a little bit out of my budget. Okay. So I know I made Dredge its own category, but I'm gonna make this full graveyard matters. Because there's cards that don't have Descend that probably would have had Descend if they were made today. Just cards that help if you have a full graveyard. That's what I'm gonna look for next, I guess. Is stuff that gets better if you have a full graveyard. So I'm gonna look up or more cards in your graveyard. I think that's good. I think that should give me what I want. I hope this is kind of chill. I hope that's what my goal is, to make this a chill little thing for background noise. That's. I guess that's not a descent effect. Okay. I'm gonna put Hollow Hollow's Eve in the deck. No. Goodness. So that would be Descend 7. So Descend is just Threshold, right? So that might matter. That's not really a thing. But the mill 3 is kind of important, so I actually will run that. Because you do want to mill things. If that didn't trigger only once each turn, I would run that. But I think I got all the ones that I wanted. I like 7 or more in the graveyard to get +1/+1. I don't know. Alexa went off. I didn't say anything, Alexa. I have no idea if that picked up, but the stupid echo Alexa thing. Okay. I hope that didn't ruin anything. I should have unplugged her. So that's she gets a +1/+1 counter. Okay, most of these are just they get slightly bigger, which I don't really care about. So I'm gonna go back to the deck list and figure out what we have. We have to send stuff. We might come across stuff that matters with the graveyard. Enough ramp spells, enough revival. This goes for that. Let me think of other stuff we can look for. I'll go land cards from your graveyard. I think land cards from your. This is stuff that retrieves lands is what we're going for next. Let's see, what do we have here? Glowspore Shaman seems okay. Grizzly Salvage is a good card. I forgot I was gonna add that one later, but might as well add it now. What else is in here? Satyr Wayfinder's good. So we're gonna go for that. This isn't really worth it, so I'm not gonna go for it. I like Mending of Dominaria in this deck a lot. Okay. So let's think. Change tags. Land Revival? Wait. I'm gonna put Land Revival stuff in that kind of thing. Okay, you. Well, first, change tags. Let's put these in general millers, and I'm going to include, because mill is not, the keyword itself doesn't matter in this deck, I'm going to include things that are like, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them into your hand and the rest in the graveyard. I'm going to count effects like that as mill effects for the sake of simplicity. So I'm going to put these 2. And yeah, she's a miller. I'm used to Miller in an entirely different context as I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and Millers are like a specific set of monsters. So, um, what else is there? Oh, I like Crow of Dark Tidings. I know there's better options. I think there's a Merfolk of all things that does this and gains 2 life. But I like the flying, and I like the fact that this triggers when it dies as well as when it enters a battlefield. So, I just like that aspect to it. I also like Undead Butler. So that's something. I wish there was a way, because I can't just go to Oracle Text and type in mill, right? Because there's cards with mill in the name, like Million Liked Whatevers, or Million Eyes, or whatever. I guess this kind of works. I can see some general mill stuff. Ah, that looks good for a draw spell. You don't need as many draw spells as you normally would, because Gitrog is a really good draw outlet. Problem is he's kind of expensive mana-wise. I'm going to put in a Bramble Familiar because I remember, yeah, mill 7 cards and revive one of the milled cards. That's really good. And then I can use this as a pitch to pitch one of the cards of Dredge, and it's a decent mana dork. So, not the best mana dork, but we take those. That's not that big of a deal in this. I could run the Merfolk too, but yeah. Deathcat Marionette is a cool card. I wanted to run that. That looks really I just like the art of it. It's like a pet card, I bet. I guess. It's not that I bet. Um, I bet that's one of my pet cards. Like, I wouldn't know. When it's battlefield, mill 3. 4 black, huh? Oh, that seems good in this deck, so let's go with that. Is that enough mill outlets, do you guys think? Not like you can answer me, I guess, but... Oh, I remember Grave Strength. I really like that card. I think that's enough mill cards. You don't want too much mill, but you do want a lot of it, so... You have to find that nice middle ground, I guess? Miller? Mill stuff? I don't know if I want to put that in draw or mill. I'll put that in mill, because draw stuff is going to be very light in this deck, because Gitrog does it for me. The dog mills, right? Yeah, that counts. Deathcat Marionette. Bramble Familiar. I'm going to change because I like all my cards looking the same, like, frame-wise, you know? Okay, so we have 10 Dredge, 10 Millers, 10 things that like a full graveyard, 7 ramp spells, and 5 revival spells. That should be good. Now what we need is some big things to revive. So I'm going to find some of my favorite big monsters. I really like Doomgape. So let's make him the first one. Change tags. Let's do Revive Fodder. No, yeah. Let's just call it Revive Fodder. A bit rude, because they're more than that, but... Revive Fodder. Let's go with Molder Hulk. Molder Hulk is weird, because it's one of those cards that goes in multiple categories, I think. Yeah, so it's better with a full graveyard, but... Let's put it here for now. Then there's Ghoul Tree. Okay, then there's... I don't know how to spell it. I think it's Daemogoth, right? Daemogoth Titan? 4 is good. That's enough big boys to revive. Now, I'm gonna put in the infinite loop before I forget. So it's Wild Mongrel. I think that's how you spell it. Yep. Wanted to make sure. I don't know where to put this. I don't know where to put this. Let's just do change tags the combo, because it's the main thing Gitrog does, and I'll explain it in a minute. But Noose Constrictor. Okay, and then Jarad, but I don't remember how to spell. I think it's Jarad. That would be my guess. Golgari Ledgelord. Is Scourge Familiar another one that does it? Is Scourge Familiar another one that does it? I can do this to add infinite mana instead, which is good. Let's do it with Gaia's Blessing. That's another part of the combo. I forgot Druid class is another card I wanted to add. I don't know where to put that, so we'll work on that when... I'm going to have a land matters thing, so that'll be good. So this is the combo. Basically, if you have Gitrog out, and you summon Wild Mongrel, Scourge Familiar, or Noose Constrictor, there's other cards that do it, but these are the three that I'm running. They get +1/+1 until the end of the turn whenever you discard a card. So you can discard Dakmor Salvage, and then give it +1/+1. Gitrog will activate, you'll draw a card. You'll use Dakmor Salvage's Dredge effect, mill 2, return the salvage to your hand, and then keep on doing that forever. And when Gaia Blessing is put into your graveyard, you shuffle your entire graveyard into your library. That way you can't ever deck out. You can theoretically deck out if Gaia's Blessing is the last card in your library, I think, and you mill an even number of cards when you have one left, basically. But that's going to come up very rarely. You can do this with other things. If you want this to be more consistent, you can put in Eldrazi. You can put in, there's a bunch, Elixir of Immortality. When you get low, you Elixir of Immortality, sacrifice it, gain 5 life, shuffle it into your deck. In fact, I'm going to do an Elixir of Immortality. So this is where the hard part comes in, because I'm running out of room, and there's a bunch of things I wanted to add. I usually stop putting new cards in around 64, so I can have 36 lands as a minimum. So, but I already have a land with Dakmor Salvage, so 30. So it's 65 that I'm going to stop at, so I have 12 slots left, and I have to think about this. Let me think. Is it Crucible of Worlds? I believe it's Conduit of Worlds, right? That's good. That's going in my ramp, because it's Graveyard stuff. The next thing I'm going to add is Awaken the Woods, because, you know, this is a really good card in this deck, and because of one of my close friends, I was able to... Is this ramp? I guess so. I was able to get one of these. They sent me one. Thank you, Rain. This is the difficult part. You know... Oh. Let's do... Leave your graveyard. There's a few cards in here that I want to add. I believe this is the right wording, right? I hope so. It's not. It kind of is. Willowgeist is something. And Tormod the Desecrator is something. I'm trying to remember the other ones. There's a green one that I like. I don't remember if it had Druid in its name or not. And even if it did... Ugh. So let me think. Oh. I run Vraskil Golgari Queen, and I think it does the same thing. So I'll be able to check that way. And then Nissa of Shadowed Bells, I think it's called. I normally don't like Planeswalkers. My rule is you treat them as if they were just enchantments. Or whatever. Nissa can get crazy in this deck, and Vraskil can do it too. It doesn't do the same thing. Adding in, like, looking for Druid isn't gonna help. But what might help is... So it's an enchantment. I think it has Druid in the name. I think it has Druid in the name. It does not. Fine. Whenever... Or put into your graveyard, or is it leave your graveyard? It's put in. It's Scholar Grove Dancer is the card I was looking for. What's sad is you saw it was purple, so you know I've had to look this card up multiple times for different reasons. Scholar Grove Dancer. What do I want to count this as? I don't know what to count this as. Let's do... It's gonna be such a tiny category, but Dredge payoffs. Dredge payoffs. Where's... Yeah. Put that there. Put that there. That's not really... I guess that is. Depends on what you count, I guess. Let's go for the superior art of Willowgeist. I'm at 60. I have about 5 cards left that I can add before I have to start doing lands. So I have to think. It's going pretty well. I am going to grab my Gitrog deck from behind me. I think it's right here. It is. And I'm going to skim through it and see if there's anything else that I need that I'm forgetting, because I'm sure that I'm an idiot who forgot plenty of cards that are very important. Case in point. Old Rutstein. He's a Miller. Old Stick Fingers. So let's do some old, yeah. Let's replace his art. Can't stand, okay, I'm like, this card jumped up in price. I got one for like 20 cents on the release. Ooh, another one I like is Necrotic Ooze. This one's cool. Full Graveyard Matters, it counts. Let's go with Safe House, because I don't know what the word is. Mirren Safe House, that's the one I was looking for. Full Graveyard Matters. Oh, we have like 1 or 2, maybe 2 at most cards left. Before we have to get to lands. Oh, I need removal. So let's do Beast Within. Oh, I misspelled it. Beast Within. Return to Nature. I think that's good removal. And then let's do a Putrefy. I know that cuts down on the lands, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Now let's do lands. So we'll do Swamp. Forest. I do usually do about 8 to 10. I'll do 10. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 each, right? That's 10 each, okay. Lands. So you want... I normally don't like these cards that much outside of 3 or 4 color decks, but Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. And then Riveteers. I think it's Outlook? Overlook. I believe that's the card I'm looking for. Yes. I'm going to switch printing, so it's the kind of run that I like. Which is most things, so that's fun. Because these 3 things trigger Gitrog. And if you have a Ramanap or something out, you can play those from your graveyard and just pop off. So that's nice. Let's go with Dryad Arbor. Ash Barrens. Baron Moore. Land. Oops. Land. Cycling. We want some cycling lands so that we can get some cool shit going. I never remember the name. Is it? It's Tranquil Thicket, yeah. And then... that's not really worth it because it's 1 and a... That's 2. So we want the ones that are 1. So that's good for that. Oh, the usual. So Command Tower. Exotic Orchard. Now we gotta go land. And then... to the battlefield. Tapped. I hope this works. I'm sure it's not, but I can try. I don't remember its name. Drownio Temple. I always assume this land has Jason in the name because the fucking flavor text has Jason in it. That's something. What other lands are there? There's Golgari Rot Farm. I have a Cabal Coffers because I pulled one in my first pack that I've ever opened, I think. So that's nice. And I know we're at 100 already, but I'm going to do the bad thing, and I'm going to keep going until I'm around 36, 37 lands, and then I'm going to edit the deck afterwards. So I'm trying to find other lands that I'm missing. I'll figure this out. There's got to be lands that I'm missing. I feel like an idiot. You know, I feel like I'm forgetting something very obvious, and it's going to bug the heck out of me. I forgot multiple cards. I have to add a guy as well, too, don't I? Okay. Let's go with Guy's Will. I need that. That's like a very important card to this deck. I'll put that in ramp. Oh my goodness. Oh no. I'm getting into bad habits. That I don't recommend going into. He's a Miller. It's one of those things, man. Oh my fucking god. Yeah. We got another card. Where's Revival? There it is. That should be all, though. Remember when I said that should be all? Did I add a mulch? I hope I did. I didn't. Okay. I might be in trouble. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I forgot to add. I forgot to add pair. Oh, dice. Lost. Don't, but it's okay. It's okay. This is gonna help me. This is Revival. So this is where things are gonna get tough, and I have to learn how to cut things. But let's go with Temple of Malady, because that's another land I need. That should be good. Necroblossom Snarl, did I add that? Necroblossom Snarl. And then I'll add an extra. Ooh, that's actually pretty even. I'll add an extra forest. Here's the fun part. I get to cut this down. I have to cut 8 cards. You know what? 7, because I'm actually cool with running 35 lands in this deck. That's fine. I'll get rid of the Elixir of Immortality. I don't want to win by the combo all the time, so that should be good. Okay. I feel like Druid class isn't good in this, so I'll cut that. I'll change the Art of Tranquil Thicket to one that I prefer, which is anything with the Secret Lair ones. I don't mind Secret Lairs. I just feel that I like Secret Lairs and Magic to be, like Secret Lairs and regular Magic cards to be separated, if that makes sense. Now if I think about it, Mirror and Safe House is only good with, specifically, with Cabal Coffers. So I'm gonna get rid of Mirror and Safe House actually. It's not that good. I'm at 104. I like both these Planeswalkers too much to get rid of them. I know I said I'd try it. I'm getting rid of the Dark Blast. I'm sorry guys. It's 103. I need to get rid of 3 more cards, huh? What if I just get rid of 2? Do you think anyone's gonna notice? I'm sorry, Cody, Scavenger, whatever. I'm sorry. I don't like that. In retrospect, that much. And then these are... I'll get rid of Desecrator, because it's 1 or more. And so I'm gonna go with that. I'm at 101. 101, huh? I feel like 4 Revive Waters is a perfect number, you know? So, I don't know what to get rid of. I like all the dredge cards. I already got rid of the one dredge card I wanted to get rid of. I like these revivals. Um, especially like that has flashback. I need Beast Within a Return from Nature for a story. I'm going to tell you why in a story that I'm going to do while I hand test, I guess. Wait, I thought I got rid of you. I thought I got rid of you. Okay, we're at 100. That should be good. Everything seems okay. I have ramp. These are my removals. 3 removals isn't a ton, but it's something. And there's removals in other forms in different places. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. There's a bunch of cards that I want to add but don't have room for. So if you guys want to help me make this deck, let me know if any things that you would edit or change or get rid of or do differently. And I'm up for trying things. 35 lands is a bit low, but the fact that I can play multiple lands a turn, and I have stuff like Awaken the Woods, which just makes a buttload of lands, makes up for it in my opinion, but I can see why some wouldn't. Time to playtest some hands, I guess. Moxfield autosaves, so it should be good. Let's deal another hand, and then without looking at, we'll playtest. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. This hand's not the best, but I'll go for it. Might have gotten better. I'll do Temple of Malady, and then Scry 1. Oh no, I already forgot. Scry's top or bottom, so I'm like, I already forgot if Scry's top or bottom. That's not going to be good for now. So I'm going to put that at the bottom. Once I... Bottom of library, okay. And then I would pass. And then my next turn I would draw. I would put down a swamp, and I have 2 mana. So I can do green and a 1. For a Satyr Wayfinder, I reveal the top 4, and I put a land from them into my hand, and the rest in the graveyard. You want to get a Dredger. Getting a Dredger is really good. And this has flashback, so that's really good too. Because the cost reduction counts with a flashback. So I would get an Exotic Orchard, and I would put these in my graveyard. Now I have a Dredger for next turn. I'm going to put the Dredger on top, so that I can remember to dredge it next turn. No idea if this is legal. Changing the order of a graveyard, I'm sure nobody would care. Then I would pass. Yeah, turn 2, second 2 lands. So I would draw. I would play an Exotic Orchard. And then I would go 1 and a green for Skull of Grove Dancer. And I would pass. This isn't the most explosive thing, I know, but it's usually... I'll actually mill 3 instead. So 1, 2, 3. A land hit my graveyard, so I gain 1 life. I don't like Evolving Wilds without Gitrog, but I'm going to. So Evolving Wilds, tap and sacrifice. I would go for View Library. I would go for a Forest, I believe. I don't know how many turns I should go. This goes tapped, and then I would play 2 and a black. For Atrocious Explorer, I would mill 2. Draw 2. Lose 2 life. Were any of those lands? No. No. Well, Evolving Wilds I would gain to life, but I would lose it from this, so I would go back down to 40. The issue is Gitrog is a big boy. So I'd go like this. I would tap all these to play Gitrog, and this is where the thing would actually start. Like I already played land this turn. Let's say this dies. Draw. Oh, it's my upkeep, so I have to sacrifice a land. I'm gonna sacrifice a forest, which lets me gain 1 life and draw 1 card. But instead of drawing, I'm gonna dredge 3. How do I view my graveyard? Okay, view all. So which one of these was Dredge 3? Oh, it's Shambling Shell, yeah. I had Shambling Shell to my hand. It is Dredge 3, right? It's Dredge 3, okay. And I land hit my graveyard, so I draw a card. Okay, untap on all that, so Forest. This is tough. 1 and a black for an Undead Butler, which mills 3 cards. Mill. I gain a life and draw a card. And then I would... This is tough. This seems good. Removal 6. That's an okay start. How do I reset? Restart. Let's try a different hand and see how that goes, I guess. It'll probably be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would draw for turn. Well, first I would probably mulligan this, but I would swamp, tap it to bring out him, and then I'll pass. Draw. Play Forest. I would... that's not a good card right now. Pass. Up. That saves everything. Soul Ring and a swamp. Oh, Soul Ring Swamp doesn't even work for a... So I would have to pass there. Okay, so I'm seeing an issue here, and that's Gitrog needs a lot of ramp to get out. Exotic Orchard, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's enough. So I'd get out of Gitrog. And then I would pass. But then I would tap a swamp, Baron Moor, draw a card from Gitrog. Also, I would have to sacrifice a land. I would sacrifice this forest and draw another card for Gitrog. And then I would play an Evolving Wilds, right? Is that what I would do? 2. I need another green. Is it put on the battlefield tapped? I'll do that next turn. I'll play a green. And then I'll play this, do this, this. For a Conduit of Worlds. Use Gitrog's second effect. Let me play a land from my graveyard, so I'd play a forest. And then I descended this turn, so let's make him bigger, because he gets a +1/+1 counter, right? Yeah, I descended this turn because I discarded a land. Pass, I'll draw. I'll go with the swamp. I'll go with... Oh, I'd have to sacrifice a land. I would sacrifice a forest, play it from my thing to draw a card. So I'd play the swamp and then I'd play the forest as my second drop. Now I can... 2 and a green. I'll probably just do the Soul Ring. To play Roiling Regrowth, I'll sacrifice a swamp. I'll draw a card. I'll put 2 lands on the battlefield tapped. Yeah. So it's via library. This deck takes a while to start up. But when it does, it can do shit like this all the time. And I think it's really cool. And then I would draw 2 cards. I would draw 1 card. And then I would pass. I descended this turn so he becomes a bigger boy. Yeah, this seems pretty good. I would sacrifice a swamp, draw a card, play the swamp, play the Evolving Wilds. 1 and a black for you. Mill 2? Is it 2 or 3? Mill 2. So I'm gonna mill that and draw a card, and then mill that and not draw a card. I have a decent amount of mana left. I did my second land this turn, didn't I? 2 black, black. Go for him. No. Instead, I'll go 1 black, green. Play this. Evolving Wilds. For a swamp? I'll go for a swamp. And then put that in the battlefield tapped. And then I'll land in my graveyard so I draw a card. Here's actually a cool thing is during my end step I have to discard till I have 7. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to discard 3. I'm gonna I can, if I want. This is something that can screw you up but cannot. I can discard a forest, right? And then I would draw a card from Gitrog, which is difficult. Discard you because you have flashback. Discard you because you have dredge. Discard you because you have dredge. I think that's enough testing. I'll do the, like, this will be the last turn I test. Black, green, grizzly savage. Reveal the top 5. 1, 2, whoops, 3, and then this will be 4 and 5. I accidentally drew 2. I didn't mean to. So what is it? I can put a land. Creature or land card among them into your hand and the rest at the bottom. I'm gonna add him and the rest at the bottom. Graveyard. Boop, boop. 2 lands at my graveyard because Dryad Arbor counts. So I draw 2 cards. Then I have to sacrifice a land. I'll sacrifice a swamp I didn't tap, to be fair, because I was supposed to do that before the Grizzly Savage. And then I'll draw a card. And then I'll play the swamp from my graveyard, because of my conduit. 2, 3. I don't even have enough mana for that. Let's go with, see, yeah, that's good enough. You just draw so many cards and you accrue so much advantage. I have 14 cards in my graveyard. I think most of them are permanents. So this should be a 7/7 with trample. I fucked up. This is supposed to have 5 more. This is supposed to be like an 8/8. This is a death touch blocker, and Gitrog's big. So that seems pretty good for testing. Let's go back to the deck itself. So the deck has issues that I'm going to fix at some point, but not right now because I don't know how to fix it. You need to get to Gitrog, and there's a few cards that can help protect it because you need to protect Gitrog because he is an important aspect of this deck. I would probably find a way to put in a Loxodon Warhammer for battle stuff because it gives it trample and lifelink or whatever. So I'd put that into sideboard. I know sideboards don't exist in Magic, just humor me. I would also recommend some stuff like Feign Death, where if something dies, it comes back at the end of the turn. So I'd put that. I'd put that in the sideboard. Well, I wouldn't put it in the sideboard. I would consider that card. Okay, I'll do it like this. I'd recommend these. I'd also recommend probably some more ramp. You need a lot of it to get the Gitrog out. The usual stuff. Swiftfoot boots might be cool, but I like this how it is right now. I just need to. I need a few changes. I kind of do want a Swiftfoot boots. So this is where you guys can come in, I guess, because I want to add these cards, but I don't know what to take out for them. There might be some cool stuff, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I would want to add. I'm going to go to check the EDH rec, and while it loads, I'm going to say that one of the things that fucked me up was the fact that one time someone I was playing with imprisoned in the moon, used imprisoned in the moon on my Gitrog, and I realized I had no way to remove the enchantment because I didn't run Beast Within because it was expensive at the time. Can I add this to Considering from here? Because that's at the sideboard. That's a good card. I forgot to add that. There's a bunch of cards. I kind of want to add Zoran Orb. I would want to add Cultivate, but I don't know. I want the Crucible of Worlds so bad. I want these 2 cards so bad, but it's so expensive. Urgspond of Turg is another card I forgot that's really important. We'll put Worm Harvest. That's another one I really like. See, that's the hard part. Every time I feel, oh, that's another. Ah, I'm falling into the trap of this. Like, there's a bunch of good cards in here that I want to add. I'm not gonna fall down the rabbit hole anymore. So these 9 are cards that I want to add, but the issue is I don't have room. So I guess in the comments, if you want, you can add, like, let me know what you think I should take out and what I should add for these, I guess. And I might do another update, a short update at some point about how I've edited this. But I hope this was a thing that you guys enjoyed. We're about an hour in, which is about where I expected this video to be. So in the end, I think this deck is good. I really like it. It's my favorite deck. It's like, it has to be my favorite deck. It's at least up there. And it's the deck that, like, I put a lot of heart and soul into. But it keeps getting updates. Like, I feel like every set, people send me or show me like 5 more cards from the newest set. That's like, if you have a bunch of lands in your graveyard, do something. Or whenever a land is milled, do something. Or sacrifice a land, do something. Or a land with a discard or sacrifice effect. And it annoys. I'm like, no! There's more shit. I have to redo it again. But yeah, if you guys can think of 9 cards, I guess, that you think I should take out to add these, let me know and I'll consider it. I can't think of much else to say or do. I playtested a few hands, it seems good. I hope this was relaxing. I hope this was like a neat little thing to have in the background, so it seems like you're building a deck with somebody. That's the goal I had, I guess. In the future, I might do this with a guest of some sorts that they can help, and I can have someone to bounce off of. But for now, this should be good. If you guys want more of these, let me know. If you guys want less of these, let me know. I wish Magic had some sort of thing like Ignis, so I can do my Yu-Gi-Oh! Like videos on here, with Magic, where I can playtest things like commander decks and stuff. But it doesn't exist, and I can't, so that sucks. So I guess that's all I really have to say. Have a nice day, guys. I hope you guys stay safe and are being good to each other. And I hope this was relaxing, or some sort, or that someone found it entertaining. Also, this is like my 3rd time recording this, because the first time, what's the word? The first time I got distracted by something, and the second time I realized that I legitimately missed like 35 cards. And it was awful, but I finally got it right for once, so. That's it. Goodbye, guys. Have a nice day, and be good to each other. And stay safe.